Hello guys, this is Taiki from Japan. I just want to ask you, have you ever had an experience in Japan and where you asked someone a question in English and they immediately replied, "Sorry, I don't speak English." If so, you might have wondered why Japanese people don't speak much English. But most people study English for years at school. So in my case, I started studying English at school at the age of 12, and some people study even longer. But the moment tourists are asking for direction on the street, many of us suddenly forget everything we've learned. We know some grammar, we know some vocabulary, but in real speaking situation, we've struggled to get the words out. Why is that? As a Japanese person who's been learning English for many years, I'd like to share my opinion. Of course, this is just my perspective, but I think there are three main reasons. Okay, let's get started. The first reason is many Japanese people worry too much about making mistakes. I'm speaking from my experience 15 years ago. A lot of things may be changing now compared to that time, but when I was a student, English education focused heavily on tests, like translating this sentence from English into Japanese, or opposite, working on definition of English vocabulary. I don't really remember exact things what I did, but I'm sure speaking wasn't included. But anyway, what mattered was whether your answer was correct. Even a small grammar mistake could lower your score, and lower grades could affect your future education and career opportunities. Speaking practice was limited because we were constantly judged on whether our answers were right or wrong. Many Japanese people grew up thinking, I have to speak correctly. For me, English used to feel like just a school subject. I would sit in front of a textbook and memorize vocabulary for tests. But the goal was always getting the correct answer. But later, my perspective changed, especially after I went to New Zealand to learn English. I started seeing English as a language rather than a school subject. And I have realized speaking English is really about communication. It's a tool. Expressing your thoughts is more important than speaking perfect English because this is something you use to communicate with people, right? Unfortunately, I think many Japanese people still carry that mindset from school. They are afraid of making mistakes before they even open their mouths. Second reason is English isn't really necessary in Japan. You can live your entire life in Japan without speaking English. You can go to school, get a job, make friends, and build a career using only Japanese. A lot of businesses operate entirely in Japanese. My case is the same. I've never spoken English at my work. In many other countries, I believe people move abroad for better education and better job opportunities. I think for them, English is often something they need rather than something they simply want to learn. It's not necessary because they are smarter. It's often because they have to use English every day. To be honest, my own need for English isn't that high either. I'm 100% sure I could live the rest of my life in Japan without speaking English. The main reason I'm still learning is because I love it. I enjoy it. I like connecting with more people from different countries and hearing different perspectives, which are something I really enjoy. But if you're talking about pure necessity, I don't really need it. And I think that explains why many Japanese people don't feel strongly motivated to learn English. The third reason is that people are often too quick to criticize other Japanese people's English, which is honestly I really hate. If you understand Japanese, if a Japanese person speaks English on social media like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as well, you'll sometimes see comments like, your pronunciation sounds Japanese. This is not how native speakers say it, or that expression is unnatural. Maybe those comments are technically correct, but I think they're missing the point. As I mentioned at the beginning, the most important thing isn't speaking perfect English. Having the courage to speak is crucial. Every time I see comments like that, I feel frustrated. I sometimes wonder how many people wanted to speak English, but became afraid because they thought they would be judged. Maybe some people never even started because they were worried about sounding incorrect. Even now, I make mistakes all the time when I speak English. But when I talk with tutors on Cambly, they usually understand what I'm trying to say, then they help me express it more naturally. That experience taught me something important. Communication matters more than perfection. Most people care far more about understanding you than judging you. So how can we overcome this? Just my opinion. But I think the answer is really simple. Speak. That's it. I know there are countless videos, books, and courses about the best way to improve your English. Some of them are really useful, but no one becomes fluent without speaking. Think about how you learned your native language. When you were a child, you probably made thousands of mistakes. Like your parents or teacher corrected you, but you made more mistakes again, and little by little you improved. You repeated that process every single day. That's why you can speak your native language today. It's okay to make mistakes. In fact, I think people who try to speak English, despite making more mistakes, are much cooler than people who stay silent because they are afraid. Japanese people are hardworking, and many of us already know a lot of words and grammar expressions because of school and entrance exams. The problem isn't that we don't know enough English. Problem is many of us don't use English we already know. So if you can shift our focus from studying English to actually speaking English, I believe many more Japanese people can become confident as an English speaker. So don't focus on speaking perfectly, focus on speaking consistently. So this is all for today. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe my channel. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.